Shalom, family. It's your brother Benaiah Ben Israel. And can I tell you something? This is something epic. The first of its kind. A monumental event of historical proportions. You see, the African Israelite Justice Foundation is hosting an event in Charleston, South Carolina, November the 15th through the 17th, called the My History, My Heritage Empowerment Summit, in partnership with Gullah Geechee Tours, to provide a once-in-a-lifetime conference experience. On November the 15th through the 17th of this year, Israelites all around the world will gather where the sun turned into darkness and the moon did not give her light, and the sign of the Son of Man did appear in heaven. The My History, My Heritage Empowerment Summit will offer historical tours both day and night by the one and only Gullah Geechee Tours. We also plan to offer authentic Gullah Geechee cuisine by the granddaughter of world-renowned Gullah Geechee cuisine chef, Emily Meggett. We also plan to host a beach or park Sabbath day service and fellowship, culminating with an African Israelite Justice Foundation conference in the heart of Charleston, on the historical grounds of an African Israelite resting place with a replica ship and a plantation house. You see, to know where you're going, you have to know where you've been, and learn how we can repair the breaches in the walls of Jerusalem together, and help defend our heritage, our history, and by the grace and mercy of the Most High Yah, be empowered to victory. Hallelujah. Well, family, come on out and join us in Charleston, South Carolina, November the 15th through the 17th, and be a part of this unforgettable weekend where history, heritage, and empowerment converge. Well, hope to see you there, Israel. Take care and shalom.
What's up, family? What's up? What's going on, family? What are y'all doing today? I know I've been gone for a couple of weeks. I just got moved. I'm still unpacking, but I'm happy that the Most High blessed me with a place to lay my head, y'all. We got a lot to talk about. I even know that I have not been talking. I've been watching the news, y'all. It's a lot going on. Well, before I get started, I'm gonna let y'all know that I am planning an event during the time of the election. The only difference with this event is it's going to be a small fee, and it's going to be on a webinar, which is like StreamYard has a webinar. It's not going to be broadcasted on YouTube. Reason, and it's going to be a small fee. It's like no more than like $9, $10 possibly. With this, it's going to be on a StreamYard webinar, and it's not going to be on YouTube because, one, being on YouTube during election time, it's going to be every single YouTube strike you can think of is going to be coming at people. So what I had planned to do, with the help of a couple of people I'm going to invite on to be a part of this conversation, it's going to be like people like Benaiah Israel, Pastor Kelly, Yacoba from Teo. I'm going to bring Gardis in. Y'all know who Gardis is. I'm going to see if I can get Charles to come in, the guy that was here last time, that was on the live last time. I'm going to get quite a few people on, and it's going to be an all-day event. Now, with this $9, it will be an all-day event. All day, meaning I will start And that's my goal. And I'm planning it out, family. I'm working hard to plan this out. I've already took my vacation days and everything, but I was going to start like on election night and close up the day after, meaning it's going to be all day long. And I may take a break like around 2, 3 o'clock, come on out of there for a little bit, go to sleep for a little bit, and then come back. But it's going to be all for 24 hours. And what we'll be doing is watching the election live. We're going to be watching the reaction live. We're going to be watching people cut up in the middle of the street live, because this election, y'all, by far is the most interesting election. I'll tell y'all this much. I was raised in somewhat of a family where we dealt with the press. We dealt with the news. We dealt with things, and I think that's why I'm prone to do things like talk about news and all, because I grew up around it. And one thing I was always taught dealing with any type of reporting or being a part of anything dealing with the news or anything, you have to not have a biased viewpoint when it comes to elections. And elections, I said collections, so that's it, elections. And this is what I've been saying a lot of. So family, give me a 1 if y'all are willing to do that. Like I said, it'll be no more than like $9 or $10. Y'all spend $10 on cheeseburgers and chicken. And it'll be a ticket all day long. You'll get access to the link. You'll be able to come into a private room where we'll be having just all day, and you can come in and out all day, where we all are going to be in there. We're going to be talking. It's going to be conversations had, and it's going to be an environment where we can all kind of speak our mind. And it won't be a thing of, oh, I got to watch what I'm saying, because if I say it, I'm going to get a strike. It'll be a strike-free zone. People will be able to give their true viewpoints when it comes to Kamala. They'll be able to give their true viewpoints when it comes to Trump. This right here, y'all, this is going to be an election of all elections. I'll say that much. This, oh gosh, real. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Okay, I'm back. This is going to be, give me a 1 if y'all want to do this. Give me a 1 if y'all going to be able to be involved. Because what I'm going to do is by October 4th, I am going to drop I'm going to use Eventbrite and give everybody a month. And the event is going to be scheduled for November 5th and November 6th. And it's going to be 24 hours nonstop. Only time I'll probably take a break is Santonio will be involved too as well. If there's an election, y'all, I promise y'all, Rio, it's like he waits until I do a live and he wants to do something. Hold on. Here, Rio. Give me that. What you got? What you got in your mouth? Gosh. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to put him up. Because he does this, because he knows I'm not paying attention to him. Give it to me. Here. Whew. Something in his mouth that he could choke. But this event and this election is going to be by far the most interesting one. I'll say that much. And I want to do is have us collectively come together and watch it go down. Back to my original point, I've been involved in media and press my whole life. I saw it as a kid. Family members were reporters, different things like that. I didn't go into journalism because just never wanted to go into it. And then I had my mom who dealt with politics or dealt with political officials my whole life. And one thing with my family members being a part of the press, they always have to be they cannot provide their viewpoint when it comes to elections. They cannot get they have to be that just report the news. They cannot take a side. They have to be non-biased. They have to be. But what I'm seeing now is it's not the case. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I see why the press have to be very mindful of what they're saying and what they're doing, because they will stir the pot. And when they stir the pot, guess what happens? We'll have situations that have transpired. Great example, Trump's second attempt on his life. That has happened. Also, most people don't know this, and I don't think they've talked about it. Camilla's one of her campaign locations has have been shot at. So they keep stirring the pot. They keep stirring the pot. They keep stirring the pot, so that when the decision is made, all heck is gonna break loose. And I'm sitting and I'm watching it and I'm like, oh my goodness, this isn't pretty right here. So I will tell this much: if y'all sitting and y'all watching me, make sure y'all got y'all plenty of bottled water, plenty of snacks, plenty of food, plenty of things in the house. Because if it goes down, they're gonna lock everybody down. Everybody gonna be under martial law. Because it's thick right now. It's thick right now, and you can feel it. Um, I've like I said, I've sat and I've watched many elections. I've sat and been involved in many elections, and I've never, ever felt or heard it or seen the stuff that both candidates got a target on their back. So I say, if I do this and y'all sit back, I promise y'all are going to enjoy yourselves. We ain't got nothing to do. We gonna probably be locked in the house anyway. Because if they cut up, they not gonna let us come out the house. They not gonna let. They gonna slam. If it go down, they gonna slam martial law on every single one of us. Every single one of us. But with that being said, like I said, the fee will be no more than about $9. Is $9 too expensive, y'all? Maybe 10. Tell me if that's too expensive. Y'all know I don't like doing stuff like this, but I want to do this, and I want to do it, and I think this will be fun. It's gonna cost me a little extra money to be able to get some of this equipment and be able to switch over to a new version of StreamYard, a whole bunch of other stuff, and I do want to give some of the people that's going to be involved a little gift here and there, and just do a few things. So, because it's going to be all day, all day. So one, if $10 is a bit much. Two, one, if $10 is fine. Let me change that. Is $10 is fine. Two, if it's too much. Maybe I say it like that. But like I said, I'm just gonna do this. Like I said, behind the curtain of StreamYard. But I mean not StreamYard, but YouTube, because YouTube is going. Anybody that's going to be broadcasting the live event, they're going to have to. They're gonna hit them with strikes left and right. I can already tell you they're gonna be shutting YouTube down left and right, left and right, left and right, left and right. So I said, I can't do that. So what I'm gonna do is move over and do this in a controlled environment outside of the realm of YouTube. one of the things I'm gonna do is I'll, get up and first do my first part of the live. We'll talk through, what we're seeing so far. Then what we'll do is we'll run the live ticker of what's going on as far as the election, as far as state by state, what state is gonna go Republican or what state is gonna go Democrat. Then while we're doing that, we're gonna bring panelists on. We're gonna sit down. We're gonna talk through what we think, what it looks like, what are our viewpoints, how do we feel, what do we think, and then when they close in polls, who knows what happens when they close a poll, baby? That's when all heck break loose. When they start closing them polls and giving their numbers, it's gonna be at least possibly 2 or 3 states that one either ain't gonna be ready or they're gonna be concerned about and they're gonna fight about. I got a strange feeling it's gonna be Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania has been a heavy conversation piece with this election. That's all they've been talking about is Pennsylvania. But the interesting part is Kamala and Trump are running so neck and neck right now that it is, I'm sitting here saying, are they trying to make a problem? Are they trying to create mass chaos? Because at first I was like, man, them Republicans gonna lose it. It's been the Democrats just acting crazy too as well. I'm like, oh man. And everybody is just on pins and needles. And again, I've never seen and I'm gonna play something for y'all. Hold on, I'm gonna play something for y'all. This lets me know that then they talking about a government shutdown right before election. Y'all, I ain't never seen this before. Let me share something. Hold on. Hold on. Here it is. I'm trying to find hold on. Am I typing hard? Don't talk about me. Let me see. Okay. Where is it? Oh, I'm typing hardly, y'all, because I don't have my glasses. Let me see. Hold on. Let me show y'all something. Here it is. Oh, let me do my disclaimer. I almost forgot. They ain't finna get me. Hold on. Let me see. Where is it? Let's see. Let me go to my little disclaimer before I get started. So here we go. So copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, new reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Let's see. Hey, Travis. Somebody said, hey, Sister E. Hello. Y'all excuse me. I'm losing my voice. I have been dealing with sinus issues for the past couple of days. Crazy thing is my cough left, but now my sinuses are acting up. Okay, so now I can share. So right now they're in a situation, not only do they have an election scare right now, they're talking about possibly funding issues and another government shutdown. So I'm going to play this.
But first, lawmakers face the election looms. But first, lawmakers face another deadline to keep government open and funded. They have just under 2 weeks to go. And tonight, the House of Representatives is taking a risk, voting on a government funding patch with controversial election reform attached to the bill. That combination is expected to fail. And for now, Republicans say they don't have a backup plan that could garner enough votes to pass. Lisa Desjardins joins us now. So Lisa, where are we with a possible shutdown?
All right, September 30th, there needs to be funding passed by then, or we would have a shutdown. That seems like a long time away, but actually in congressional world, that means just this week or next week to get that funding passed. So let's take a look at the House floor right now. They're in a vote series. This is not the actual vote on the continuing resolution to fund government. That's coming up soon. But what we expect to happen tonight is it will be a close vote, and we expect this patch suggested by House Speaker Mike Johnson for 6 months to fail. And that is because, in part, it is attached to the SAVE Act, which is a piece of legislation dealing with voting. Now, in this country, it is illegal to vote if you're a non-citizen. There are studies and there are many debunkings of the idea that there is any problem with non-citizen voting. It's a minuscule number that's ever been proven. It's not a significant issue, but Republicans want this to pass, some of them, to require proof of citizenship in order to register to vote. These two things together have meant that this patch in funding is likely to fail, and Republicans right now, Amna, do not have a plan B.
So Lisa, if this patch is likely to fail and there is this deadline approaching, why is Speaker Johnson holding the vote at all?
There are a few reasons here. This is a roll of the dice. He has been saying all day that he can sway enough Republicans. When it comes down to it, we've seen over the past 2 years, they've lost the votes like this. So it would be a dramatic change if that happens. His job is on the line here is one reason. He wants to prove to conservative Republicans, especially fiscal hawks, those in the Freedom Caucus, some of them, that he will push their ideas even if they fail. The other issue is that this is an election year issue for Republicans. They know that the idea of voter ID in general is something that's popular. They are betting on the idea that proof of citizenship, which is a little bit different, also could be popular. And this is something that they want to talk about on the campaign trail.
And this is something we've heard from other Republicans, among them former President Trump. He's in particular been pointing to a related issue in Arizona, right, due to citizenship and the voting law there.
Right.
What's happening?
Right. We're going to try and explain this clearly. In Arizona, just in the past couple of days, it has come to light that some almost 100,000 voters who have been registered to vote for decades may not meet a requirement that went into place after that. It requires that they show proof that they are U.S. citizens. Now, the state just discovered this glitch. And one thing about this, Arizona's law is unique. So a bottom line here, Amna, is that these voters can still vote in the presidential election, Arizona, important state, and in federal elections, but because of state law, they are now in limbo for state elections, and that includes Arizona's abortion ballot measure, which a lot of people are watching. Trump responded about this on his Truth Social platform. He raised the idea that this implies that the election is rigged. We know that actually he's conflating several ideas here. We talked with Carrie Levine from VoteBeat, covers this, asked what is known about the likelihood that any of the folks caught up in this might be non-citizen voters.
Officials have said a vast majority of these people really are almost certainly citizens. There are people who have been in Arizona for a long time. There's really no evidence that there's a large group of non-citizens in there. But of course, you know, one of the reasons that the state has chosen, and it has unique laws in this respect, to require a documented proof of citizenship to vote in state elections is because they are worried about this.
They're worried about this, but that law is actually causing other problems right now. As we see, this is going to go to court. Ballots are about to be printed. Decisions need to be made very quickly. Something else worth noting, especially for former President Trump, the Arizona Secretary of State said this group of voters that they're looking at, the largest group of them is Republicans. So if you're accusing this event some kind of rigging in the election, you're accusing Republicans of doing the rigging. The Republican Party says, let them all vote this election. It's too late to change anything. We're going to have to monitor it.
Two very big stories, both worth keeping an eye on. Lisa Desjardins.
So they're already complaining of voter fraud. Man, I'm telling y'all, this guard us. I need to talk to you because you're going to be up here while I'm doing the all day live for the election. So you're gonna help. I ain't even asking. I'm telling you, you're gonna help me with this. I'm messing with him. Another thing, and let me see, Gardis. Y'all want to come on up? Y'all can join me. I'm gonna drop this link real quick. You've been trying to reach me via email. I am so sorry, Christopher. I have not been keeping up with my emails. My apologies. I've been moving and trying to unpack. So my apologies. So like I said, it's gonna be an all-day event. Oh, Doug, you coming up here too as well, sir? I need you to come up here as well. We're gonna do an all-day event November 5th and November 6th. And I'm talking about talk about what's going on, but we're not going to be on YouTube. It's going to be behind a paywall, meaning people will pay a fee, like $9 to come in, and it's just going to be all day. And we're going to be able to talk the way we want to talk, because we can't talk on YouTube. What's going on?
Hey.
Hello, Gardis.
Hey, I was actually I saw on the meeting and I saw you was on live, so I'm like, let me see what Sister E's doing because I haven't seen her in a while.
That is too funny. You know, I've been unpacking. I done moved. I still got boxes. I ain't even set up my office yet. I got to do that real quick. But what I'm getting ready to do is November 5th and 6th. It's gonna be an all-day event. You ain't got to be there all day. But it's gonna be behind. It's not gonna be on YouTube, but it's gonna be in a room inside of a StreamYard, in a webinar StreamYard, where we're going to be playing the debate live, where people can talk freely. Because what I was saying was, when the elections start going and they get these numbers, people's YouTubes, they're going to start, because of the way that they've been censoring people, YouTubes are going to be they're going to start striking YouTubes left and right. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to create this webinar. And I think the maximum number of people I can have is 1,000, which is more than enough. And we're just going to sit and we're going to watch and provide commentary, our thoughts. And because the thing is, I tell people, as late as it gets is when it gets more and more interesting. When you get into the 9 or 10 o'clock hour at night, that's when it starts to pop off. So that's why I said I wanted to do that. And it's going to be all day. I may close up like at 2 o'clock and be back up at 8 and do more of it. But it's going to be interesting. So are you game? You can pick whatever time is doable for you.
Well, you said all day. So what's that, November 5th and 6th? That's I'm assuming that's like Monday and Tuesday, right?
No, it's Tuesday and Wednesday.
Tuesday and Wednesday. Sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I can slide on for about an hour. So I could probably slide on maybe more of the Wednesday part.
Okay.
Depending on, hopefully nothing's going on during that day. But I was they've already been censoring people off of YouTube, basically talking about, I remember there was a channel that I follow and they had to remove a video because they were talking about the election in 2000 and how that was like questionable. I don't know what they said had happened or who said what, but it was basically talking about what happened in the election in 2000 when Bush won over Gore. And
yes,
I was like, wow, so you can't even talk about election fraud anymore.
Yep, you can't. And that's why I said, because I was going to do it on YouTube. And YouTube has been real finicky and funny with me lately, especially now since I've been kind of talking about elections. I said, let me do this. Let me pull back. And I said, let me figure out how I'm going to do this. And then when I saw that StreamYard offers something called webinar, and then you just, you go in, you register, and then you get the link. And then what happens is when I'm ready to go live, I share the link. You come into the StreamYard and you can still chat, and you all can have a conversation. You can run a live. You can do anything, because I was going to do it unlisted or private. Well, I can't do private unlisted on YouTube, but I found out even if you're unlisted, they're going to give you strikes. So I said, I'm just going to not do YouTube, and I'll record it. And then later on, I'll play, may play it for people, or I may not even play it. I may send it to people who are involved in the conversation. But this is going to be an interesting election. And I do want us to be all together and having conversations and not have to be worried about YouTube strikes.
What makes this more interesting than, say, the election in 2020?
The biggest thing with this election, you're dealing with a group of individuals, this generation, Generation Z. They're a little bit more vocal. I'll say that much. The younger generations and the millennials, you're dealing with a situation where the economy is shot. Then you have a situation where they're saying that Democrats are bringing immigrants in. Then you have a situation where Democrats are saying you're going to bring in Project 2025. So right now, all this stuff going on, and then not to mention they just talked about Kamala lying about her color and who she is. So it's a lot of narratives being pushed where people right now are frantic and people are at their wits' end. It's not really what's going to happen during the election. It's what's been going on. The economy is horrible. The job market is horrible. People are frustrated. People are stressed beyond levels of stress. Because I remember with Gore and them, the economy was not, I don't think the economy was this bad, but it's bad now. And literally people are just really voting to be able to survive now. This is a survival vote. They feel like if the Democrats come in, we go on to war and they're going to make the economy even worse. And then you got the Democrats that's saying, if you bring Republicans in, they're going to take away our right for female rights to do whatever with our bodies. And they're going to do this. And so everybody's afraid right now. With that being said, you got the press running their own narratives. And one thing that I do know about the press and being around the press my whole life, the press is not supposed to give their own viewpoints. They're supposed to report the news when it comes to politics. And now the press is stirring the pot even more. So people now, it's like a powder keg right now. And when those votes go out, you already got narratives that they're already saying voter fraud. And I feel like if the Republicans win, the Democrats are going to lose it. When have you ever seen an election where a Republican candidate has been shot at twice? Then, not to mention, you just had an incident with Kamala in one of her presidential campaign sites where somebody had shot in there. So I said, this is chaotic. So with that being said, so much going on. I really believe once the decision is made, people are going to lose their minds. And that's my thought. And I hope I didn't go too deep into it.
No, that's pretty interesting. I think that's pretty analytical, and I can't really argue with you on a lot of what you said.
So that's why I said I want to do this behind the scenes. So if all hell breaks loose, we are already talking amongst each other, and it's not a thing of why people are doing lives. Let's say something goes on, they're going to they probably would shut down shut down lives left and right so they can control, the conversations. So that's my whole thing. And I'm not paranoid. I'm not the biggest conspiracy theorist, but this is a bit different. This is something I've never seen when it comes to a presidential election. What's going on, Doug?
Well, howdy. How you doing? Can you hear me first?
I can hear you.
Yep.
Okay. I got a new headset on, new mic. I've not been on my show for a few weeks, and appropriately so. A lot has happened. What you're talking about, as I hear you, if you were to turn that up with a margin of 50, I'm about right there with you. It's time to steer clear. It's time to get clear. The clock is ticking down. Look, they're about to take a turn for the worst. Okay, and if you're not somewhere that is devoid of what I expect to be an explosion of violence and just discovered animus, newly discovered, newly ignited, newly triggered, whatever you want to call it. Absolutely. I can't imagine anyone with half a brain looking at what's happening, what's taking form, and not understand the gravity and the implications of what it means for us. Because I'm not trying to get off topic, but they are about to deconstruct the very heroes they constructed for us to look up to. Use that as a reason to dig into the community and just ravage us. And it's set in stone what's about to happen. And if you notice, the dominoes of negrosity are setting up to fall. It seems that even that young woman that seems so much on the side of caucasity from a Negro's perspective has took a turn for the worse, telling them that they're a synagogue of Satan. I don't know who that lady's name is because I tend to forget it, thankfully. But I guess I don't know what her name is.
Yep.
You know, it's just, I don't know. Sounding the alarm, I think, is almost it's almost a moot point. There's an alarm needing to be sounded, but I don't think people care. I think people are so entrenched in their own lives. Those of us that get clear and are elsewhere, I think are going to be better off than those that determine that everything's okay. Everything's going to go as it has been. I don't know, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I look too closely. Maybe others don't look close enough. But, you know, if you're not looking at not just what they're seeing, they're set up for some cataclysmic event, some touchstone to come into play. And they're going to react to it either with martial law, some sort of event. Now, I mean, people are talking about the 1st of October. People are talking about, you know, the war that's raging over in the Middle East. And everything seems to be on the precipice, but not quite there. You know, Russia is on the precipice of using nuclear weapons in Great Britain. You know, the Israelis are right there on the very edge of invading and using weapons against Lebanon. And I think I think they're terrified of crossing the line, not because of loss of life. I think they're prepared for that, folks. I do. I think they're prepared for the loss of life. They're planning for this loss of life with these documents they're releasing that others have previewed on other shows. And it's not that. I think that they know that once they go beyond the point of no return regarding prophecy, you know, the mechanisms that expose who Negroes are. I'm gonna have some thoughts on that later, perhaps. But what you're planning, Sister, you know I'm gonna be in, and I'm in for the whole. Because I'll talk everybody into a coma. That's just a fact.
We here for
anyway,
it.
I'm sorry. Did I get off topic? I drift.
No, you were on topic. I think you hit the nail on the head that right now, if nothing happens, great. We get up and go to work the next day, and we had a good time. We had a great time. We enjoyed ourselves. But if something crazy happens, we got somewhere where we all can come together and we can talk. And we don't have to worry about censorship. We don't have to worry about nobody shutting us down. We don't have to worry about nobody saying, oh, you got to watch what you're saying. We can all talk. Because like I said,
forgive me, sister, what date were you talking about and what time frame? I may have missed that trying to get in the show.
No, it's going to be election night. I'm going to do it November 5th.
Okay.
In the afternoon, and we're going to go until November 6th the next day. 24 hours.
Can I comment on that time? Because I did not know that was may I? Or
yes.
Gardis, how are you? I've not.
I'm good. I'm listening.
Good meeting you.
How you doing? Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing well. I would tell you my name's Doug Rice on the Doug Rice Show, but you know this is Sister Eve's platform, and that just be rude. I did just say it. It was a joke.
I was listening to you talking about events, and you know we've had several. No, not several, but we have some world-changing events, and I think that's what you're alluding to, that there is some event like 9/11, like COVID, like these events that basically is going to, you know, they basically kind of change the world forever. So I'm wondering, where do you see these events, or where do you see this event originating? Are you seeing it originating here or some part of the world like COVID did?
Okay, well, I am glad you asked. And if I might, Sister E, I am glad you asked. First, there is no real limit to what the possibilities are regarding what they may or may not do, what may or may not occur. We are in an era where there are weather weapons they use, in my opinion, to form hurricanes to affect the weather. We have an era now where CMEs, coronal mass ejections, shoot highly charged particles at the earth, affecting the behavior of the people upon the planet. We are in the most unpredictable moment. And so to answer your question, where? Well, one of the places I see they may try what most are considering a hologram event of fallacy, promoting some messiah that they transmit upon the clouds in some high definition falsehood. I mean, that would fool a large part of the population. They may divulge what they consider to be aliens, which we know would be the fallen, making shells of themselves, rudimentary, mechanisms that have them move about the planet. They may do something to the planet, and I'm going to get to this, that may affect those they intended to affect, but have an interesting non-effect on those they didn't intend for it to have. And let me expand on that. How do you think, I don't know how they may expose us as true Hebrews. The only thing that we got going for us are just a few things: history, and being Negroes, having brown skin, having melanin. So a guy named the Tall White Alien said Negroes would be the only people to survive a nuclear blast. Now that wouldn't be too shocking if they set off a nuke and we walked out unscathed anywhere in the world. That might tell us who they are. I don't know. I didn't want to. I wanted to fold that in, because whatever it is, and you need to realize that is a possibility, that as the sun ignites itself into this energy and releases these combined, protons that just sear through shit if it does the wrong thing. Excuse my language. Sorry. But I got to donate $5 now. That shear through things, if it gets charged up. What if somehow we are able to withstand things that they aren't able to withstand, and that points to us as being who they say we're not or refuse to admit? I don't know. What is it? Whatever it is, brother, I'm going to tell you this, Mr. Watts, whatever happens, whatever it is, I believe first it's going to be miraculous. It's going to be, and that's first, either on their mechanism, because it could come either way. It could be something they plan that backfires. We know there's a lot of that going on. A lot of people think they plan a lot of things that's supposed to eradicate us that didn't work. It could be any number of things, but nuclear war, I mean, they're threatening that. A new disease, they've got that out. They tried monkeypox, that didn't seem to take. Everything and anything they can that involves the eradication of Negroes is a possibility I entertain, Mr. Watts, I tell you that. And so anything that might affect us that doesn't have maybe the result they expected, like not killing us all, anything that might point us out as something unique. I mean, that, I don't know if I answered your question, but
you answered the question.
It felt good.
You answered the question. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting perspective.
They're gonna break loose that night. That's all I'm saying. But all right,
it's an interesting perspective. I don't necessarily think they want to kill us all. They do want to enslave us. I do know that. So they can't kill us all and enslave us at the same time, because then we'll all be dead. Because they need to go back to that period of time where production was done by us for free, under the lash and the gun. So in order to do that, they always say the easiest way to enslave somebody is through their mind, because if you don't have the mind of the slave, it's hard to enslave them, because obviously many of our ancestors who went through the transatlantic slave trade decided they were not going to be slaves and jumped off the boat, killing over I think the estimate number was about 2 million. And then you had the ones who started rebellions, the ones who ran away, So a lot of it, and you probably might agree with me, there is basically a lot of propaganda, psychic jobs towards us. I think you also mentioned holograph projection of false prophets. I think what's so interesting about that. I'm not sure because I believe in the substance of that, but I think when people hear that, they think, and maybe I might be wrong. Maybe you might be saying that they might take a hologram gun and push it out the sky, and some white Jesus will come out and everybody will believe that. But I think, in essence, when I think of presenting false prophets as leaders to the world, that's happening right now. Look at the two presidential candidates that we have. They're literally making them into prophet status. And I'm generally, when I say prophet, because obviously it's a synonym for another word, which means to make money. And they conflate those two particular terms because they want us to believe that they're prophets, but they're actually profit. They're doing profit, PROFIT, to gain some worldly status, but then also confuse us at the same time. So I get what you're saying, and I think it's already happening. But these projections of these false leaders are already happening, and hopefully, and with this platform and several other small platforms, we can see through a lot of this stuff, because what Sista E was talking about earlier was many YouTube channels being stricken, some of them actually being banned for talking about things of substance, things that make people think, well, I don't want to be part of what I consider the duopoly, which is the Democrats and Republicans, because they haven't worked for us. And so when we think about those, when we get into those deep political issues, they don't want you to do that. They want you to pick a side. You either got to be a Democrat or Republican, and there's no other choices. And so when you start thinking outside of the box and being intentional about it and being brazen about it, then you become dangerous to the establishment. So I do believe in a lot of the philosophies that you say. I'm not sure, like I said, if you're using metaphors, or if you're just literally saying that's what's going to happen.
No, I mean, I'm saying metaphorically, literally, or literally metaphorically. I don't know. I think that here's what I do know. Whatever is done, and thank you for bringing me on track. I am sharing this everywhere and see the photo of Trump and Kamala, and those two, specifically Trump, do serve as a modern day false prophet, and they're deifying this crazed maniac. I mean, in a manner that is, reminiscent of the Klan. That's how they've intertwined his religiosity factor. But man, I'm the last people that are believing whatever they put in front of folks that believe it are going to be us. That's what I mean. I think the alien thing is a real go-to. I think that might, I don't know, but that might be their last resort. I mean, and I'm not, getting wild about anything. Both of these, well, at least Trump talks about that garbage. But if the conversation is about getting clear on November 4th, I'm going to beat you guys to the punch, because I'm headed out to a remote area and gonna, kind of stake it out there during this election cycle myself. So I'll be online out there with you, as far from cities as possible, if God willing. I think Sister E is on to something. They showed their behinds January 6th. I don't think they're going to wait till January. If
Yep.
they have a plan, if I can get on topic with you, they have a plan to make some sort of mess happen. And it might start the day of the election. It might begin that day and grow into a crescendo of violence. So I think you're right. And yeah, they are canceling a lot of these YouTube channels as well.
Yep.
But whether it's literal or whether it's figurative, either way, the end result for them will be either confusion. You're saying that they don't want to kill us all. I'm going to say, I don't know that they need slaves that bad. I think they read scriptures and know that their end is destruction. That's just what the Creator promised. And so to keep us around, other than to sap from us the energy they need to survive, if that's the purpose, well, they might do that. But that's where I land on that one. What was I on? Is everybody still with me?
I was on
Cleared the
mute.
room.
I was trying to talk. I'm
Oh.
sorry. Yeah, I think everybody is bracing themselves for what's to come and what we're about to see when it comes. It may not be anything. Like I said, I'm not one for fear mongering, and people know that. I don't believe in fear mongering. I believe in faith. But I also believe in being aware of your surroundings and paying attention to the signs and the signals and knowing what's going on and being aware. And one thing I do know is their goal is going to be starting to shut down these YouTube channels before we start this election. That's why people getting hit with strikes. That's why people have been getting hit with all these things. That's why I'm pulling back for a minute and then coming back into as well to say, y'all, let's do this, but let's do it somewhere where we can be able to talk freely and we ain't got to worry about it in the middle of our conversation. Our YouTube is shut down when it's mass chaos, when something happens. Because January 6th was a small snippet of what could happen with the next election. We as a people have never seen. That's why I said this is a different environment now. This pulse is a little bit different right now. The vibe is a little bit different right now. We've never seen people get upset and storm the Capitol building. I've never seen that. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't think that has ever happened in history. Maybe it has, but I have never heard. We've never discussed that. Where a president is switching over to the new president, and we have mass chaos. And I said, what could have happened January 6th could definitely happen November 6th. Because people now are much more irritated, they're more broke, they're more frustrated, they're more scared, they're more everything than they have ever been. And when people are scared, they react. And people right now are voting for their lives right now. They ain't just voting so they can get the president they like. They're voting so that they can eat and work every day and not have to worry about their livelihoods. I ain't never seen an election like this before.
Let me tell you, if I could, sister, let me tell you my biggest is not really that, or even let's just even say not even the Civil War. What if they just get nervous and just call martial law and freeze everything and you're stuck? And some like it and some don't. And then it gets real hairy. You know what I'm saying? At that point, the frazzled mental breakdown of those who've been holding on by a thread just collapses. And you're trapped there, in your house where people are doing crazy things. It doesn't have to go haywire for it to be haywire, is what I'm saying. And I, as you might remember, spent the entire January 6th day going off and saying that this is the beginning of the end. And let me just tell you, sister, and the rest of the folks who are listening, I kid you not when I tell you these hillbillies have got plans. I'm not, this isn't like some fantasy I'm dreaming up. They're serious about their boy. You understand? And let me dovetail a little fact into this, in that if it's announced he has lost, on the 27th of November, he is slated to be sentenced. And that will more likely result in more chaos. He wants to avoid that date at any cost. And if he can, before that time, cause sheer chaos in this country, me, I'd rather be in a remote area where nobody can get to me without knowing where I'm at, ready to, do what I need to do to get out of this country. Because right now, I'm wondering if the guardrails fall off in this place, and everything goes to the left. Will countries say, if you can get transport, come here? Forget anything, just get to an airplane. The roof is falling in the United States, and people might step up and say, let's go. This could look. Let me see what I'm saying. Let me tell you what I'm saying, man. My job has been to analyze situations most of my life. My professional career has been to analyze situations and figure out what's happening, present what's going on in a clear, concise manner. Okay. And what I'm telling you is this can go left very quickly, very fast. It can spread faster than anybody can imagine. The Civil War did, World War II did, World War I started with a damn gunshot. And if you think these hillbillies, and I call them hillbillies trying not to call them something else, if you think they're somehow managing to keep themselves together under this sun that's shimmering above them, no, they're not. And it takes just a hair's breadth to trigger them. I'm out there amongst them every day. Okay. So this is all hanging on by a thread. They see the end coming. Folks, let's stop fooling ourselves. This November election will be the touchstone of what happens next. And it could happen election night that day. These people are going to look. I'm sorry to keep going. They got poll watchers. They've hired hundreds of thousands of poll watchers. What you think they're going to be doing except intimidating black folks, people of color, people stupid enough to vote? All right, I'm done. She picked up the video.
I know. I'm just going here because I want
I'll
you
land
to.
there.
No, you ain't
Go
got to
ahead.
land. I was going here anyway. But right here, I want to show you something. This is what I'm saying. The press is got to be careful because some people don't have the sense to know to go and look other places. But the press is pushing a narrative now. Election experts raised fresh alarm about vote counting delays and chaos in battleground states. I'll play this real quick.
Okay, so we're at the film festival, middle of Park City. The doors open, and
Let me get past the ad 1 second. So here we go. I'm going to share. Oh, fair use. Let me change this over real quick because they doing anything possible. All right.
Breaking news, 2 more election officials in battleground states receiving suspicious mail tonight. More than 17 states now receiving the threats, and it comes as election workers at this hour are bracing for chaos, turning voting sites into fortresses. They've installed panic buttons and some bulletproof glass. I mean, this is America preparing for the worst as Republicans are continuing to blame Democrats for the latest assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life. In Maricopa County, Arizona, which is the second largest voting jurisdiction in the United States. A CNN exclusive tonight. This is a behind the scenes look at how election workers are under threat and are depending now on the police to actually protect the vote. Kyung La is out front.
People were coming. We're getting
outside the nation's department. You can see a line of law enforcement here, the sheriff's department. There are a number of people out there who have been seen with long guns, with automatic, semi-automatic rifles, because of this open carry.
Can y'all hear the video?
It's jittering badly, and it just went through just a little bit. You're having a little bit of a bandwidth problem, but for goodness sake, just the images alone and the headlines. But I mean, try to keep playing it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's choppy on my end too.
Let me do it again. Hold on. I don't have the good internet like I used to have. I have Optim. Oh, I can't see it right now, but it ain't the best. So let me try it again. Hold on. So with this, what they're ultimately saying is, and I'm gonna go back to it, but what they're saying is they're looking at a recap of what happened in 2020 when they had mass chaos. People were standing outside. They said people in some of the right to carry states or open carry states had their guns standing outside of the some of the election facilities, one in Arizona. So what they're doing is recapping 2020 to kind of build a narrative of what could potentially happen in the next election. Now, this is just the last election.
People were coming up these stairs, and there was a real concern that they were going to breach this door.
Election night 2020. This was the scene outside the Maricopa County Elections Department. You can see a line of law enforcement here, the sheriff's department. There are a number of people out there who have been seen with long guns, with automatic, semi-automatic rifles, because this is an open carry state. Since that night, security has been ramped up. The vote count surrounded by surveillance cameras, iron fencing, and armed guards. Maricopa County is one of the largest and most competitive counties in the entire country. It's also a cauldron for conspiracies and misinformation. And CNN is getting an exclusive look at how law enforcement now protects democracy from chaos.
Now, unfortunately, this building has turned into a bit of a fortress, but that's the reality of elections in 2024.
It's primary day in Arizona, and Sergeant Jeff Wolf has been on duty since dawn, monitoring for potential threats.
Our staff has been out and on the road since approximately around 5 o'clock this morning. We want to know that our plan is providing a safe environment, but we don't want to project that we're possibly intimidating the election process by having a large amount of uniform resources or patrol cars and things like that.
We have eyes everywhere. Video surveillance, our drones. So we're just watching for anything that might look suspicious, anything that might potentially turn into a crowd or something criminal.
Thank you, everybody, for all the pre-planning, the logistics.
Maricopa County Sheriff Russ Skinner says this is a blackout week. All hands on deck. All law enforcement on duty. The heart of the operation is in.
It's starting to buffer again now.
Emergency.
Cool.
It's buffering there, Sister E. I don't know if you hear that.
It stopped on me.
Okay, I'm gonna end it right here. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I hope everybody in the live can still hear me. You see how things are going right now. I've not had any buffering in a minute, even though my internet is shaky, but I got all bars with my internet right now. No issues. Now all of a sudden the video is buffering. So I'm going to be very careful. So let me do this. CNN. Like I said, they've been hitting us with everything plus. So I'm reading the article. It says that I'm gonna read a section of it, and it says that, and I think I can share at least what I'm reading. Okay, so right here it says in Battleground, Wisconsin. Meanwhile, a final tally isn't likely until the morning after the election. Now they're talking about the morning after the election. Wisconsin and some of the other states will not be able to have their tallies until the next day. This is why I want to carry over until the next day, because that's when we're going to really start seeing people do what they're going to do. And it says that Ann Jacobs, a Democrat who chairs the state election commission, while several other states have moved to speed up the vote count in the 4 years since 2020 post-election chaos. Political gridlock in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin has prevented a change that could have paved the way for early projections, the ability to begin opening and processing mail ballots before election day. Election observers worry that delays in counting mail ballots could give the public a false sense of who is winning the election. That could create a potential red margin. Y'all know I'm country, showing GOP candidates ahead initially before more Democrat-leaning absentee ballots they already done started with these absentee ballots. Are processed and added to the tally, and leaving open for false narratives. So, false narratives about election fraud to flourish as the country awaits final results. In Georgia, a controversial rule change approved Friday that required workers to hand count the number of ballot cast at precincts on election day could delay the results of the presidential election in another key swing state. So ultimately, right now, we're in a situation where they're already talking about absentee ballots. They're talking about Atlanta going to have to do hand count votes. So they're already building a narrative, and they're already saying, you notice in the article, they said a false narrative for GOP, but then the Democrats could come in and have a lot of votes when it comes to the absentee ballots, which could swing the vote to go the presidential election to go another route. So you notice that they're already building that momentum and that narrative. And what happens is election night, they're gonna close the ballots, and I'm gonna probably close the live for a little bit so I can get some rest. When we wake up in the morning, what happens is you'll see and you'll go to bed. How many times if we look at a presidential election and we go to bed and one candidate is winning, but then when we wake up, a whole nother candidate is winning? Great example, George Bush and who was it? George Bush and
Al Gore.
Al Gore.
So we'll see a swing, and guess what's going to happen? These folks going to lose their minds in the middle of the street and start yelling voter fraud. So they're already letting you know that possibly this could happen because we got to still count the absentee ballots. We still have to do, Atlanta, Georgia's still going to have to do their hand counts and all that. They're literally trying to let you know some stuff can happen on the next day. What are y'all's thoughts?
I think that happened in the last election where I believe Donald Trump was leading, and then the hand ballots came in, and next thing you know, here comes Joe Biden. So if I could remember, that's what happened in 4 years ago.
Yep. So it's already started, and I'm like, people are a little bit more broke now, a little bit more concerned now, a little bit more frustrated now, that I'm just like, if January 6th could happen, November 6th could happen as well.
Well, again, I would say look for a cascade of events, really, because if I don't believe that whatever occurs, whatever starts on election day, I don't think it's going to be localized to just the election. I think now I want you guys to consider this. If on this day, sister, that you I think is a perfect idea. And let me just preface it by saying if we last to that moment, and that's a real risk and it's a real threat. If we last until the day of the election, okay, and other nations who have other other programs, other other things that they want to do, other targets that they want to hit, know that the United States is off its square and the internal combustion of the politics is taking a fire. They might take that opportunity to, add to the chaos. And they don't necessarily have to do a nuclear attack. We don't have to go 0 to 100. They could further disrupt things by power outages and other mechanisms. They could interrupt the internet, not the government taking it down, but other countries taking it down and then blaming it on the government. And just help the whole chaos along. And that crescendo could build into a need to subjugate the country through other means. Look, let me just say this. Whatever happens in the election, United States is in the bullseye targets of the whole world now. And if these folks go off kilter on election night, by the next night, election night, the last thing on America's mind might be this damn election, depending on how far off they go. That's why I'm saying it's better to be somewhere in a remote area, because if I'm China and I want Taiwan and I'm being flooded for the last 7-8 months and millions of people have been displaced and I can't provide them food anymore, and the only thing that can save me is a absolute control over the chip industry of the globe. The only thing stopping me in the way of that is United States, that is now imploding because of a almost owed you $5 of an election. Then maybe I should strike the United States and invade Taiwan right now on the day after the election, since they can't seem to get their stuff together. Or if I'm Russia and I'm sick of Ukraine, or if I'm Lebanon or the states that occupy the Arab states and they're tired of, the only thing stopping the Arabs from beating the small hats is the United States backing them up for carriers. So if the United States on election night loses its mind and it's obvious they're not going to find it anytime soon, if I'm Xi Jinping, if I'm Putin, if I'm the grand dude of Iran, I might take that opportunity. If I'm the little short fat guy, North Korea, been threatening us for sick as Japan, he wants to, dude, this story writes itself if things go wrong. And so I'm not, and again, I speak for myself, I fully intend to go from where I'm at now to where I think it's safe. And I'm gonna log and journal and film and video and live the whole thing. That's just a personal thing. But for those of you that, think this is just another election, I mean, you just stick around and see what these folks do. And if you don't care about what they do, remember that what they do predicates on what the world does to these people. Right now, United States don't look too cool. And I land there for now.
Yep. Garvis, what were you going to say?
Oh, no. I was listening to them and yeah, if I was Xi Jinping and Putin and I understand the politics of it, you really don't have to do anything, because I think you mentioned it, that the system is going to implode on itself. So, why would I do anything? But obviously they're going to get the blame because, we've already have the Democrats blaming Russia for people voting for the GOP. And now we got Democrats blaming China for election interference. And it's just and then it's absolutely crazy. And let's just say, even theoretically, let's just say hypothetically that they did do this. The problem is that neither one of their policies are for the people. And so why do you have a bunch of people who are wavering between voting for one or the other, or voting for neither one? Because I hate it when people try to, how should I put it? I wouldn't say bullying, but they would literally say, well, if I'm not voting for Kamala, then you must be giving your vote to Trump. And I'm like, I wouldn't vote for Trump. I wouldn't vote for Trump if he was the last person on earth. But obviously, there's, most people are stuck in a system where you got to choose one or the other.
Yep.
And I don't see that. I don't see politics that way, because just because I'm not going to vote for Kamala doesn't mean I'm gonna vote for Trump. And I hate when people say, well, if you don't vote, you vote for somebody else, like a third party candidate, then you're giving your vote to Trump. No, a vote for Trump is a vote for Trump.
Yep.
Because I don't see people on the other side saying, well, if you don't vote for Trump, you vote for Kamala. I don't see them saying that. I just see Democrats saying that.
Yep. And it's our people that's saying it. They bullying you because you're questioning certain things like her race. That's been a hot subject here recently, especially with the report that old girl did, Miss Candace, and they're pissed off because Candace is one, they don't like Candace, and two, they feel like Black people should just take what they give us and we should not question anything. This is a different generation. We question everything, and right now, everybody's questioning Kamala's race.
And but I don't even think that we don't even need to go that far. Like, for me, it's all about her politics.
I agree. But it's getting Black people out of the identity politics, and that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, because I can easily criticize her on her politics. I don't even have to go into her race.
Well, I got to say, if I can, that a vote for any of these individuals is a vote against the kingdom. And I've already cast my vote. I don't vote, and anyone that tells me I should, I have a very good answer for them, and I'm not going to say it here. But no, I mean, and the answer is really, first, there is no lesser of two evils. There never has been. That's a misnomer and a fake idea. It just is. Evil is evil, and no lesser of any. And the fact is, when you cast your vote, you put your faith in men. You put your faith in men. So in all respects, anything that you do, if you are awakened and conscious, looks odd to these individuals. And you are right, brother Watts. The fact is, they put us in a pigeonhole. If I say something against Donald Trump, they automatically assume I'm a Democrat, not realizing I'm pretty familiar with Joe Biden and his, crime bill and all his jungle talk. And I'm pretty familiar with the Central Park Five. I know Trump's father was found in a Klan rally. So don't tell me who to vote for. I'll vote for who I please, and I vote for Yahweh. I vote for the King of all creation. I vote for God Almighty, our Father, and of course his Son. So we're ambassadors to the kingdom. Let me just say that. So politics doesn't really excite me, not in the least. Where it will take us concerns me greatly. We are caught up in the wake of this nonsense. We've been trapped amongst these individuals to the point of fracture. We don't understand, most of us, that we don't belong here. This place has no place for Negroes. And I say that as a descendant of slaves, trace my family back. I know all of us here have the association of being, voted in, but not voted in. And So there's no side, quite frankly. There's all bad sides, and neither one of them. Kamala's race. I've heard about the falsity of her grandmother's photo. I don't know if you guys caught that on some other platforms and channels. I've heard of her whole life being artificial AI. I don't care. I mean, I tell her the same thing I tell Trump, and they won't like it what I say, either one of them. So it doesn't matter. I know that this, as you've stated, sister, and I'll land shortly, that I think you're very, very appropriate in your intent. I do. I think that what you're doing may be probably the most timely plan, electronically, media-wise, social media platform-wise, because what if something jumps off to the point you're so glad you did this year? You know what I mean?
Yep.
And you can't come back from it. And it's the moment that, I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Putin's, anything's possible. I'll land there.
Anything is possible. And I'm gonna be honest, some people are voting. Some people want to choose a candidate. If I vote for somebody, Carnell West would be who I vote for. But yet and still, people are voting. What I don't is judge people that do vote. Because that's their choice. But with that being said, even if you don't vote, you still need to be aware of what's going on. I've heard people say, oh, I don't want to get involved in that. Oh, I don't want to. You got to be aware of your surroundings. You might not vote. You may not want to be involved in the voting system. That's fine. But you still need to watch and see what's going on. And I really believe that, like I said, people are going to be trying to see what's going on, and people are not going to be able to see it because, again, if all hell breaks loose, the first thing they're going to hit, I think, my opinion, they're going to start hitting YouTube. They're going to start hitting all these sites and these places that people can have conversations and can have discussions. They're going to start hitting those. Because they already hitting them. That's why I'm very careful right now. Y'all finna see me be the most political and careful person for the next month, because I want to make sure that I have my outlet available so that when I do drop the event link, you'll be able to get to it. And when you can be able to get to it, we'll be able to have those conversations. So y'all don't be mad, because I am being very politically correct for the next couple of weeks, because I really believe that they're doing anything possible to strike people. Like when I started seeing that it was acting real weird with CNN, I shut it off. I'm going to probably do less of playing news reports and just have more discussions. I'm going to be very mindful of how I say things and what I say things, how I say things. Because God has brought up a point that's crazy, that somebody literally video was taken down because they played the event that happened in 2020 or talked about it. They're trying to get people anyway. They trying to catch you. But I'm going to be careful so that I can be able to have that outlet for the rest to be able to go and have a conversation.
I think you was talking about being aware for people who don't vote. I think the dangerous part is there are people who want to vote who are not aware.
Yeah.
Because they're being told on who to vote for.
Correct.
No critical analysis. Because many people just vote for who's popular or who says the right things. When I ask people about why are you voting for Kamala, what is her platform, 9 times out of 10 nobody can tell me. But what they can't tell me is, well, I don't want Donald Trump to be president. And that's not enough for me.
That's not.
It's not enough for me. And then when I talk to people who vote for Trump, I ask them what their policies are. Well, he's going to build a wall. Okay, y'all already know. Venezuelans are here already. So,
correct.
What use is that? So you got both sides who are politically ignorant. The mass of the supporters are politically ignorant. They go by popularity. They go by what they say. They go by, well, if Kamala gets in, she's going to she's gonna let a flood of immigrants come in. If Donald Trump comes in, and he's gonna kill all black folks. and like I said, that's the fear mongering. And I think Brother Doug, I've said this before, and I wholeheartedly agree with him. The lesser of two evils is still evil. You can't get me with that. And so when people like us start coming up asking questions, we're the ones that get shut out, because we're not the ones who are forced to make a choice, or we're not looking to make a choice between two people. And I think the scope of people's political consciousness is so narrow that they only see what's in front of them, and they don't see the bigger picture.
Yep.
And it's a shame, because one of the things that don't concern a lot of people is foreign policy. Everybody talks about the economy, but nobody never talks about how the economy is connected to our foreign policy. Our foreign policy, I mean, one of the reasons why we're so concerned about this election, because the world outside of us is burning.
Correct.
It's literally burning, and pretty soon, and I would even say, there's gonna, in some cases, the country is already burning. So, this is the problem that we have. I mean, we're literally ignoring what's going on over in the Middle East. We're ignoring what's going on in Eastern Europe. We're ignoring some of the conversations that's been having in the UN with these nations like China and Russia and several of these other nations who are trying to take a stance against United States imperialism. But, we ignore all this stuff. We're ignoring what's going on in Africa, and how, there are some victories in Africa, because they're basically kicking out French colonialism. They're actually forming a military alliance there, and a lot of countries are lining up against this alliance in Africa because of the fact that they're kicking out Europeans. But yet we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that because they don't want us to see that.
Correct.
Let me if I can jump in there for a minute, Watts, or Sister E.
Yeah, come on.
First, I just want to address something. I want everybody to know I am a troll hunter. I am still in chat, and I am a vicious verbal tactician. So please be very cautious when it comes to what you say in here, because it's just, it's not nobody needs personal attacks. Nobody cares about anybody's opinion about other people. That being said, one of our writers brings a good point about immigration, and how he asks why you don't bring it up and how it hurts the black community. First, I know that's not the topic, but how it might dovetail. It will fuel the right-wing white nationalism that Trump has fueled. That's going to help his vote. His loss, if planned, I think, will also play into play. But he brought up that it's hurting the black community. I thought about the immigration problem and bringing up and hurting the black community. I will say, and unequivocally, from a certain perspective, the answer would be yes. From a certain perspective, absolutely, without doubt, they're getting thousands of dollars on the EBT cards, cash and food. Okay, that being said, they're getting housing, they're getting this. Hurting the black community, well, they never intended to give us anything anyway, so I don't think they're hurting us anything. Anything we get, that's what we got. They were not going to get. When you see them give others money, don't feel bad. They weren't going to give you squat. So no, I don't feel bad. I kind of retract my sentiment. Initially was, damn, look at what they're doing. And then I was like, damn, they had the money to do it for us all the time. They never did. They never will. Let's not be butthole hurt that they're getting things. But then I also think the money that they're bartering, the money that the trillions of dollars they're in debt, the 35 trillion now that they're in debt, they hit here recently, all that's us. I don't want that money. I don't want their retribution, or whatever we call it, reparations. I don't want that either. That's our money. That's money they made from the blood, sweat, tears, slavery, murder, bannings, castrations, hangings, lynchings of Negroes. When they tossed out slavery, when they said it was illegal, all the millions of dollars, the billions of dollars today went into other edifices, other enterprises, other corporations, other businesses that exist to this day, banks, all these things. So them handing out money to immigrants, let them hand it out. They got it because we gave it to them. They got it because they took us. They got it because we're enslaved. They got it to give because of us. So look at it and go, okay, what else you got to give? Because you're running out of stuff to give. That's what I think about the immigration problem. And you know what? I have a different take. I say let them all in. You stole this land from the natives or the people that were here, whoever was here, blacks, I don't give a damn. I don't care. Probably $10. But you let them all in. Just saturate it and let them be as uncomfortable as they've made us for centuries. They're not encroaching on me. I don't care about them coming in. Give them as much money as you can afford. You are never going to give us any money. It's built off our backs anyway. Let them enjoy it. It won't last. You're about to go down. And if I can finish, Mr. Watts, what other countries are doing, the relationships that China is building with Africa, the relationships we see Russia building with Africa, the relationships Africans are building with Africans, all of those relationships, I don't care about a single one of them. The kingdom is coming. Any nation that doesn't hand its sovereignty over to God Almighty will be destroyed. And though we know there are nations that will survive into millennium, I've just learned that recently, we also must know any nation that opposes God's arrival will be utterly destroyed. And I want you to think about who don't like when they don't get what they want. So I thought I'd address that, and I hope I didn't overstep. I land there.
Yeah, they're going to be in the millennial. They're going to be other nations that survive. Yep. That's why they said that they got to come up yearly. And if they don't come up yearly, they will not receive any rain. And it speaks of that. So other nations will be able to survive, will survive. But y'all, I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to send out I'm working on the Eventbrite. Right now, I'm getting ready. I just switched I'm doing a 7-day trial with the StreamYard webinar, and I may get a couple of people and get their emails and have them to register just to test it to make sure that it's good and I don't have any issues. And it's 1,000 seats. So I'm going to test it out, and I plan to test it out this weekend. Gardis, if you have some time, Doug, I may call a couple other people and have you all to go and register. And make the link available for you to register and see what happens and how you can get in and make sure everybody's good. So we can have it doesn't, it's not a waste of time. And then hopefully, well, not hopefully, I will definitely have the Eventbrite invite out by next week. So people can start registering and being prepared, and and like I said, I'm giving it a whole month for everybody to do what they need to do. And like I said, it's 1,000 seats. I don't know if I fill the seats. If I do, praise God. If I don't, we got plenty of room. But after 1,000, it won't let anybody else in. So, but with that being said, y'all, it's gonna be an interesting time. So I'm gonna make sure and have everything done and prepared. This has been heavy on my heart for the past couple of months. I've talked to Pastor Kelly about it, and he said, yeah, that's a pretty good idea. That's a good idea. He said he'll be involved. Your Cobra is going to be involved. Gardis and I think Dante. I'm going to see if Dante can come. And Benaya said he'll come. Larvin said he'll come. So I think Larvin said he'll come. He might come. I think so. A couple of people. I haven't reached out to everybody to see who can come, like Ashonda and the rest of them, because I'm just now beginning to work on getting everything set up. I plan to have everything set up by this weekend and test it no later than Sunday. So no later than the middle of next week, the link will be up, and I'm going to post it on my community page. And I'm going to post it on my Sister E Facebook page. So, and I'll be doing some lives here and there with the actual link there, so you can register. Again, it'd be a small fee, probably like $9 or $10 at the max. Like I said, I don't think I'll fill 1,000. I might, however it falls, but I do just want to do this, and I want everybody to just be involved and be engaged and be in the know of what's getting ready to happen, because it's going to be an interesting time. It's going to be interesting. And like I said, I want to be in an environment where it's a safe space. And if you want to say what you want to say, YouTube ain't gonna shut us down. So like I said, I will have that done. Like I said, by the weekend. And in fact, I'm actually working on the Eventbrite right now. So, and it's called Election Pulse, Real-Time Results and Reactions. So I have all that done, and then we can go from there. So like I said, this weekend, I'll be working on that all weekend. So Gardis, I'm gonna ping you and a couple other people so I can test it out and see if it works and it's not an issue before I pay for the StreamYard webinar. I'm just doing a 7-day trial for now. So
yep, let me know.
Okay, cool.
Well, I'm gonna be there because I gotta be disruptive in every reason. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know you do. I'm gonna send it to you as well. Email me so I can make sure, because what I may do, I have only 10 seats available.
Well, there are far more qualified people and I'll be remote. And if I have to, I'll be doing my own thing, because you never talk about my show on your show. I don't know why. You've promoted other people's shows, and that hurts. It hurts, but it's okay. I'll get over it, sister.
I'm so sorry, Doug.
Let me know. I'm just grabbing some tissue real quick, because I'm tearing up.
Everybody knows who Doug is. If you don't know,
nobody knows me. That Doug, right? No, Sister E, who's got all these wonderful followers. She's never said, you know what? Y'all tune into the Doug, right?
I think I have posted you on my community. I have posted on my community.
I'm just begging for a plug. Come on.
Doug Rice channel, y'all. We finna get ready. Hold on.
The Doug Rice. Well, they see it.
The Doug. I'm getting ready to pull it up now. The Doug Rice. Right here.
And you did that to that dude I got into an argument with last time. I was like, man, and I whopped him too.
You did. So this is
that's
the
right.
Doug Rice
show, and I got what? Yeah.
That's
pretty interesting stuff.
Numbers up. He has
Thank you
on as well.
Appreciate it.
You see, I'm subscribed and I got my bell. So we'll do that.
I see that. I'm subscribed. That's how I found out you were on. You do great work. You really do. I like your this is a great idea, I might say as well. I mean, if you're not connected on that night, there's no telling what's going to happen, because it could happen from within or it could happen from without.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna work on.
Thank you, though. I appreciate.
You're more than welcome. So y'all subscribe to the Doug Rice Show.
Thank you very much. That's nice. Appreciate it.
He don't have to put a cussing jar on his own channel. So just.
Well, that's true. I owe her $10 too. I know the words I said.
No, you do not owe me 10. You are hilarious.
I'm gonna send it to you. Watch.
So, but wait a minute, Madison. But it's gonna be so much fun, y'all, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna Doug can just be free. We ain't gonna have a cussing jar for Doug. We're gonna for Doug. Guidance will be there. Like I said, we're gonna have quite a few people to let y'all know I am working on it, because y'all know I'll get busy and get sidetracked. But to let y'all see, I am actively working on it right now. If you see, I'm working on my little Eventbrite thing. So expect that coming soon. Like I said, I just got to test out a few things to make sure everything works out fine with the StreamYard link. So, but what I do like about it is you have to register. You have to put your email address in there, because I think with the email address, when I go live, I can hit share, and share will go to everybody, and you'll be able to get that link right before. Because what I plan to do is send the link, possibly like an hour before I go live. or the day before. And when I hit share, everybody I have access, and you'll be able to go in. So I'm just gonna test it and then and see how it works. So I'll do that over the weekend. I might use Eventbrite. I know that African Israelite Justice Foundation uses another tool, and I want to ask Benaiah about that because I may use that as well instead of Eventbrite. But just be ready. We're going to have fun, and it's going to be an interesting conversation. I'll say that much, but it will not be on YouTube at all. Anything before we close out, y'all?
Looking forward to it.
Gardis, do you have something?
No, I was just saying, I was like looking forward to it. And also too, I don't know, Sista, are you going to be moderating the conversation? Because obviously, even if you do have people who register, there might be some I will call them infiltrators.
Yes.
People who aren't necessarily agents, but they do. There are people out there who just want to cause dissent. So
yeah, it's gonna be agents out there. I already know it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really don't care about the agents. My biggest thing is the agent, which is YouTube, won't be able to shut me down in the middle of the conversation. People might be recording it. I don't know. That's just how people are.
Mm-hmm.
But yet and still, I'm not really even concerned about that. I'm more concerned of if we can't talk because we're in the middle of doing a YouTube live and YouTube says, no, I'm not going to let y'all keep doing this. I'm going to shut you down. I'm shutting you down. I'm going to shut you down because that's what they do. So, but I'm going to be on the live throughout the event. I may get some people to kind of help me. Like if I want to take a break between here and now, we can. If everybody get tired and it starts slowing up, I may say I'll close up and then send a note saying y'all will be back on at 8:00. So
well, I can talk for 24 straight hours.
We know you. We know you can talk. So Doug will be there. And go and I'm gonna in fact cook and everything that day before, so I can have everything I need, everything at home, and I can be there because I plan to be locked in the house. I was really thinking about going back to Memphis. But I don't know yet. But I'm gonna be somewhere stationary. I got my phone charged up just in case I need to flip over to my what is it? My hotspot, just in case things happen. So it's gonna be fun though.
Well, if I can go ahead and make my little explanation, while I'm driving out to I got some property in Nevada. And I'm driving out there over the next few weeks, looking to build on the property, maybe an escape haven for Negroes. I don't know. I got a few acres out there, and I think it dovetails nicely. It's I'm almost like I'm being called to go out there, just to be out of the way, and it's about it's nice and remote. I like it, and for goodness sake, if I can be broadcasting with you, join in between, perhaps even my own broadcast. I would love to be a part of that, and let's see what happens. Let's see what goes on.
Yes,
it's a good idea.
Yep. So let's talk about that. Yep, I'm good with that. So all right. Well, I'm getting ready to close up so I can go to bed and be up in the morning and finish unpacking. Oh gosh, I got so much stuff to unpack. So any closing words before I close out?
Nope, just peace and blessings to everybody.
All right, peace and blessings. Somebody said, can they get a plate? That is too funny. Yes, you can get a plate. But peace and blessings to everybody. Thank you, Gardis, for coming on. I'll ping you this weekend and I'll see how we can coordinate it so I can be able to test it. And I may have a couple of people, you, Pastor Kelly, a couple other people come in and kind of like test to make sure they can get in and out. So my biggest concern, if people leave, can they come back in? So, all right.
All righty.
Well, I'm going to wish you peace and blessings as well. Just everybody keep your head on a swivel. Watch carefully. At this point, I don't Listen, you got to inspect what you expect because they're all suspect.
Yeah.
I'll land there.
All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us. I will see y'all later on this week. Be on the lookout, like I said, for the invite. And come on in the room on election day and we'll have fun. Let's get as many people signed up as early as possible, just in case they hit my channel. We already know where to go if something transpires. But all right. Well, thank y'all so much, and y'all have a good one. All right.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.